Hi. So let's talk about Malta. I think Malta is a fascinating place. It's the southernmost part of a large area that Marija Gimbutas, the archaeologist, calls Old Europe, meaning it's information on a culture that has come down to us from tens of thousands of years ago. Let's see what that means. And can I still have myself in there? Hold on, I'm gonna share screen. I'm gonna share screen. Hi, cool, huh? Okay. So Malta is a really, really cool place. It's an island and it's got these temples, like 30 temples, and there's only a few left. And you go there, you walk around, you're like, oh my God, this place is beautiful. Hold on. And so it's part of what they call megalithic culture, meaning around 1,000, a parameter of 1,000 years from 3,500 BC to 2,500 BC, there were all these temples made all over old Europe. This is, in the latter part, is the ones you might see like Stonehenge and Avebury in the United Kingdom and Ireland, right? But these temples on Malta, and there were about 30 of them, were built around 3,500 BC. What is so cool about them is it has got the oldest temples. It's the oldest temples in the world. And these temples, like, have got it going on. So if you can see in this picture, that look at those spirals. They were made with this colossal stones, right? But that's not all. They were goddesses, and they were gargantuan, as Marija Gimbutas calls it, and Anne Baring-Jules Cashford, I'll say. These goddesses were enormous, massive, several feet high, of large shaped women, right? And there's a connect the dots with some of these women. Dig this. This is one of the layouts. Do you see anything interesting about these layouts? This is on the island of Malta, and there's 3 different ruins of temples here. There are about 7,000 skeletons, or some parts of skeletons found here, meaning it was a burial site. So this was a sacralized site, meaning this was a sacred place to bury the dead. Really important information right here, okay? Why are they shaped like this? Does it remind you of anything? Well, basically, if you can see my cursor here, this is in the shape of the goddess. The concept being, in the goddess is both womb and tomb. Think about it for a second. Even today, a lot of times we bury the dead in the ground, right? And it's also where we grow, well, not in the same place, but we also grow our food in the ground. So the goddess concept of about 3,500 BC was womb and tomb. Womb and tomb. The same place we go to die is also the same space underneath the ground for regeneration. So rather than a concept of heaven, which is separate from the earth, right, or divided from the earth, where God or the divinity lives up in the heavens somewhere, this speaks to a time where the sacred was within the earth. So this idea then of the mother goddess was like very holistic, right? The idea then is this is in the shape of the goddess of both a magical place, a spiritual center, and a place to bury your dead. There's another picture of it closer up. So this is, again, just ruins of what it must be. But the most important thing I want you to grasp regarding Malta is the oldest temple in the world is something called a hypogeum. Hypogeum. The hypogeum, let's see, is a 3-level structure. It's a 3-level temple. And you're going to guess that perhaps the most magical part, the most spiritual part, or the most sacred part of this temple was on the upper floor? No, it was in the underground, a subterranean room, a subterranean temple, underground, cave-like. And this idea is that's where all the spiritual practice happened. That's where the magic went down. In the spiritual center of the subterranean temple of the Hypogeum. Okay. Yeah, they found a lot of figurines in and around Malta, mostly female figurines. And dig this, here's one of these massive stone structures of an ancient goddess. Yeah, she's lost her head. I think she originally had a head. Here's some more of the goddesses that were found on Malta. They resemble goddesses found elsewhere. There is another place where we have seen goddesses like that, and that is Hypogeum, which is now modern Turkey, right? It was called Anatolia, southern Anatolia. This is a goddess found in a place in Turkey around 5,000 to 7,000 BCE. And look, she's kind of representative of this birth-giving goddess, and she's flanked by 2 lions. So she's showing this fierceness, this power, this strength in order to give birth. We're going to compare and contrast Hypogeum with Malta, and we'll discuss Hypogeum in another video. But essentially, this in many of the rooms in the center of this village of Hypogeum that is now Turkey, it was painted in red ochre, especially in the birthing room, which was the center room of the temple. Same here. There's another picture of her. I think this head might have had to be replaced by an archaeologist because she might have been found without her head. Back to Malta. This is the sleeping goddess of Malta. She was found in the subterranean temple, that is the underground temple. What does this mean? Again, it's really cool to see the curves and but she's called a sleeping lady. Is she a goddess? Is she a priestess? We will really never know. But there is so much conjecture about her. What is she doing down there? So there's a lot of theories about why people would spend time down there, not just to be buried under the ground in those temples, but more than that. So there's a lot of theory, and they all speak to, let's see, this idea, well, I'll just try to paraphrase. Essentially, there is a belief that women who were pregnant went to sleep in the subterranean temples in order to have the fetus in the womb animated, as in that's where they received the spirit of the child into their womb. Other people believe it was dream incubation. Other people believe it was an initiation into the temple priesthood or priestesshood. There's a lot of reasons for the purpose, but they do believe that to sleep in that space was to be able to make a connection with the divine force. This, one of the reasons why Malta was preserved for so long, and I know we're talking about this again and again and again, is the idea of the Aryan invasions, and you can see them coming in, these Kurgan invasions, over thousands and thousands of years, of these war bands of people that worshipped sky gods, not earth goddesses, right? Now, the earth goddess we know early on was both the goddess of the heavens and the earth. The bands of nomads that swept through and conquered these peoples, well, they rode horses, right? And horses can't necessarily swim to islands very well. So places like Malta and Crete and other Greek islands were preserved later on into more recent memory because those were the last places that these invaders conquered. Okay, I think that's it. Essentially, screen sharing has stopped as the window is closed. Okay, so that's about it for Malta today. I hope you enjoyed this little slideshow presentation. I hope you and your family are well. Until next time.